What's going on, travel people? It's your boy Jerry the Third, aka Kimono Jack, and you are tuned into another broadcast from Point Noir, home of the Point Noir podcast, where we not only inspire but equip men of color to go out and see the world for themselves. This is our 45th session, and boy, I'm happy to be here talking to all y'all right now. Hope you're feeling well. I just woke up from a long 18-hour nap. Was out in Ethiopia just a few days ago, and it's so beautiful out there. If it's on your to-do list, to visit list, definitely check it out. Learn a little bit of Amharic, check out the markets, check out the sites. Just so much beauty. The culture is so rich too, so I definitely came back with some ouzo, a couple bottles of tej. You know, we gotta share some of the good drinks and spirits with the fam back here at home. So hope you're all doing well. We have another amazing show coming up for you, and if you haven't yet left us a written review on iTunes, I think we might have a contest around that coming up soon. So I mean, check out your apps, make sure you can find the buttons. You'll definitely want to win what we're giving away in this upcoming review contest. No announcements yet, but I'm just saying, think about it. In addition to that, we have a couple winners for the passports in April. We're going to announce them. I'm reaching out to the winners right now, getting their details and information, and I absolutely can't wait to share them all with you. So, that all being said, without further delay, let's introduce today's special guest. See you on the flip side. Joining us today as our special guest at The Point is Gabbok Bokongo. You can follow him on Instagram at Gabbok17. That'll be in the show details. But listen, there's not much I can say that he doesn't say better about his story or about himself directly in the interview. He has such a direct way of speaking and thinking and brings so much light and perspective to his experience. I think it's awesome. So I can't wait for you to get to know him better. But I will say that he did start traveling at the early age of 2 when his family immigrated out of the Congo in the heart of the African continent, moved to Europe, and then since then he's just been all over the world. Now he continues his adventures, but he brings his daughter along every opportunity he can, which is such a dope thing. And shout out to all the brothers who've been on the program and will continue to join the show that are fathers that encourage travel and travel with their family. Like, it's such a dope thing. So that all being said, I know you're going to get a ton out of today's session. Make sure you check out Gabbok on Instagram at Gabbok17. Listen, you know the drill. Find your refreshing beverage of choice, that comfy, cozy corner of your couch. Sit back, relax, and prepare to be inspired by another session from the Point Noir podcast. I'll see you on the flip side. Yo, what's going on, Gab? How you feeling today, bro? Thanks for joining us today at The Point.
Man, I'm feeling great. I'm happy to be here, man. And how you doing?
Dude, I'm good. Weather's looking good. I know you just landed in Paris, somewhere I'm headed to in a few weeks. So that's always exciting news. Got to give a little bit of love to the City of Light. Not too much, though. Just a little bit. They know what they did.
They know what they did. Let's say Paris has been good to me, but we don't forget the history. We just move forward with it.
Big facts. That's what's up, though, bro. So, man, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. I know you have a very unique and interesting story about how you got engaged in travel. You're over 100 countries at this point, which is amazing because to look at your profile on Instagram, you probably wouldn't guess it. You're not out here flexing about the number of stamps you have. It just seems like you're out here on this trek, on this journey, and I'm so interested to learn more about it.
Yeah, the truth is, I've been traveling way before Instagram was there. So, to me, traveling was never about flexing. It was just, a real part of my life. I've been traveling, my parents left Congo because I'm Congolese. We left Africa, came to Europe, traveled around Europe and learned different culture and everything. It's always been part of me. So that's why I took it personal to make that part of my daughter's education. And never need to flex on anything, never count and stamp or nothing. It's just me doing my thing.
That's what's up, fam. That's really, really cool. And, everyone gets caught up in the social media hype or the visuals and images, and that's not even part of who you are. So let's take it back because I know a little bit about why you left Congo, but I know a lot of our listeners don't understand the situation in the Congo. So can you share with us a little bit about that experience leaving Congo and why?
Well, basically, my country has been at war for a very, very long time. And there's two Congo. I'm from the bigger one. I like to say the bigger one because it's massive. It's the second biggest country in Africa. And geopolitics and politics itself within the country have been chaos for a long time. So the best way for kids to have a future was to come in a Western country. It could have been Europe. It could have been America. For me, it was Europe. And my parents did great. They took a lot of sacrifice to bring us, my brothers and my sister there. And that was our first travel, first travel. And it's been great since. But I know my country's been suffering for a long time and nobody really paid attention to it because I'm not gonna lie, every big Western country has a part in it, and sad part about few African countries, you take but you never give back. But either way, like we still gotta thrive for our community, for our kids, for our family. We don't forget, but we move forward and try to set a better example for the next generation.
Yeah, and that's impressive. I'm honored to have you on the show with that level of perspective because it's very different. Travel for survival for the future of your family. And when I first hit you up on Instagram, I was like, "Hey, so what got you into travel?" Kind of the normal way I get to know people a little bit. And you just replied in one word. Do you remember what you said?
I don't. What did I say? I forgot.
You just said war. And I was like, shit.
Yo, I can be dead, bro, and I can be straight up sometimes.
But I understood. I've been to the smaller Congo, the RDC.
Yeah.
I was in Brazzaville and Point Noir, in fact. But I've never been to the bigger Congo. It was right across the river.
Yeah,
we were right there.
Kinshasa's right across Brazzaville. Actually, it's the two capitals in the world, the closest, and you just have to cross the river to go from a point to another.
Yeah, and I learned some of the history, but not as much. So I'm curious. When did you first immigrate to Europe with your family? How old were you?
Well, my parents did. When my parents did, I was 2 years old.
Okay.
And so I don't remember much. But we went back because you know how it is when your family is back in Congo. You come back every summer or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I never, I love my country like you love an older brother that always fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
right.
Yeah, I got the same relationship with my country. I'm like, yo, they can do so much more, blah blah blah. They could be better, but they don't do it because they're lazy and stuff like that. But the truth is, I really love my people. I really love my culture. I speak my Lingala fluently, which is the national language, Swahili as well. So yeah, I love my roots. If I can go in 114 countries around the world. I'll never forget where I'm come from because I know where I come from.
Right, 100%. So from that point, when did you start? I mean, so that was one country transition. Where'd you guys go to? Or where'd your parents relocate you to when you were 2?
First, it was Belgium. France was like the third. I think they stopped because I don't remember everything when I was a kid. I think they stopped in Spain, then went back up in France, stayed in France, and I grew up because I have family members. Congolese has this big families. We got family members all across Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So every small vacation we had, it could be like my mom would send me to Netherlands, and she'll send me to Austria, Germany. So next thing you know, you just cross Europe, and you're like 12. You're like, oh, I've been there.
Right.
Understand different culture. Even though you go see families, they still have different culture. Even in Europe, Europe is just different, so small but different compared to America, where you can have the same culture.
Right, and very accessible too. It's pretty much easy.
And very accessible, very accessible. My mom got me started traveling by myself across countries when I was about 12, 13.
Wow.
Like that. She was like, take the bus, go to Belgium, take the bus, go to Switzerland, stuff like that. You'll see your cousin there, come back. And it wasn't no Instagram or nothing like that back then. My mom was just like, hey, I did worse when I was back home, so you can do this. I'm like, oh, I guess so, and then next thing you know, you grow up just being this guy, just who can go anywhere because he feels like anywhere is possible.
Right. Wow. And I mean, sometimes in the States, we won't let our kids get on the bus and go down the street, much less go to a different country, a different border, with no cell phone or anything. Wow.
Yeah, well, I always had like she would leave me coins and she would like call me when you get to that point and stuff like that. Back then we didn't have no cell phone,
Right.
so I got used to it. Now you can find me some crazy countries for regular people. I go to Iraq, have a blast,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to Yemen and go to north of Pakistan. Just connect and know the people because sometimes some places are at war, but those people heart are not at war. They just want to live the regular life like everybody. They just want to be happy and stuff. So I feel like every country is reachable.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And that's incredible. And that's one thing that's really interesting about the European culture in general is that they often do get more exposure to different areas because it is so accessible, but also it's not weird or unfamiliar to have a preteen or a young teenager traveling to another country by themselves. I think it breeds independence.
Yeah, clearly. Like I know France and Germany, like they have traveling is part of them. Like they travel a lot.
Yeah.
I mean Europe, I know the Germans travel a lot. Like I've seen kids about 14, 15 going to Italy by themselves and stuff like that. When I used to live in Rome, just a lot of kids. I'm like, yo, how you guys got there? Oh, we just took the train, took the bus. Like they go on road trip when they're 14 and 15. When kids in America don't even think about going to another place.
Right. Right. Yeah, culturally, it's definitely different. So, for you, did you ever notice or start to be more curious about the world at large? You're proud of your Congolese roots. You visited there. You explored around Europe. But when did you make that shift to not be content with just Europe or returning to the Congo?
Oh, I was really young. I guess I was like, my first trip by myself to Brooklyn, New York, when some uncle lived there was when I was about 12. My mom just put me on the flight, and it was already an eyes opener. And after that, the second one was in back then it was in China when I was like 17
Hmm.
to see an aunt. So like before I was even an adult, before I was 18, I was been to different continents, so it felt like I wanted to see more.
Yeah, yeah. Was there anything that stood out? I mean, I imagine Brooklyn and China both being culture shocks compared to anywhere in Europe. They're just so different. But was there
Oh
was there something
yeah,
that you felt you were looking for, or was it curiosity? I mean, why keep going? Because you kind of have this thing about you that just seems like you're just driven to collect experiences. I can't really put my finger on it, but could you speak to that a bit?
you know what it is though is all right. So the funny part about my journey is I've met a lot of different people and in a lot of different places. And although we're all different, I always felt like, we're all kind of the same in different environment. And sometimes when you go to different environment that you don't know and you lose yourself, because that's why I love just losing myself somewhere else. So I can learn from the environment,
Yeah.
learn from the people, see how the people react. And this feeling is there's no other way to get this feeling if you want to lose yourself, like just depending on other people that you don't know and trying to learn from someone that you don't know. It's a type of feeling that you can only have when you're willing to really lose yourself. Not just lose yourself in some bullshit words when you see on Instagram like, yeah, lose yourself, you'll find yourself. No, no, no. Really go somewhere where you don't speak the language and trying to find your way out and meet people. It's an eyes opener. The feeling is particular. Like, it's you can never have this feeling in big cities because I've been. You can never have this feeling when you go to Tokyo or New York. Like no, like go to Algeria near the desert. If you don't speak the language and be like, yo, I'm gonna stay here for like a week or two, and it's not the feeling to open yourself so people can be open to you and so you can learn and stuff like that. This you can only have that when you're really traveling, not traveling for the gram, traveling to understand others.
Wow, that's so powerful. Open yourself so others can be open to you. That's the benediction right there. Thanks for being on the show, Gab. Appreciate it. We're gonna round out. That's so true, man, and it's so powerful. And one of the ways I make that distinction is the difference between, I think, adventurers and travelers. To me, to my eyes, you're an adventurer. You are about engaging, embracing, being in the places that you don't see on Instagram or that you don't think about, or that might be areas experiencing political or, violent conflict. That's adventure, man.
It is, it is. But you know what? When you live it, it doesn't feel like that.
Mm,
It really feels like you just experiencing life.
right. It's just another Wednesday.
Like, for real, like I wish you and I can go to a country like Yemen.
Mm,
That's the one country I've been to. We go to Yemen. We go to Yemen. You'll see what the Yemen that I saw has nothing to do with the Yemen that people show on TV. Because of course, America has different interests, so they'll show you something about jihad, stuff that ruins the country of Yemen. But the truth is, Yemen also has a beautiful part. I'm telling you, Yemen has a part of this country. There's a part of this country in Yemen that looks like Caribbean islands.
mm,
Like if I show you what I saw, like kids running on dolphin to go from a coast to another, stuff like nobody will talk about. It's just they live that way, peaceful, but we're never gonna get to see that unless we go there.
right. Again, with that open mindset of, hey, there's a possibility of something beautiful here, of people living productive, happy, fulfilled lives, not, listening to all the bullshit we see in the media.
Of course, like it's that's just about it. Like real talk. When there's a country at war, there's wars. This is what people sometimes ask me like, "Yo, you've been to all those places. Which country was the most scary?" And they expect me to say Afghanistan, Iraq, stuff like that. But I keep telling those people like those countries got war zone. You know, where you don't go. It's just like us. Like there's no white dude that's gonna come to I don't know downtown Crenshaw and act like a creep and he's just white being white. No, he's gonna get killed. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
just the same for us. We're not gonna go to war zone and acting ridiculous. Those are just that war zone. The country is big. There's other places you can go and have a blast and know about the culture, know about the history, know about everything. I guess that's my fight. Tell people that stop being judgmental from what the media show you. Just trying to go above, trying to go deeper, trying to go see. I'm not saying put yourself in danger. I'm just saying there's other stuff. America is just as violent, and Chicago was even more violent than Iraq not too long ago.
Yeah.
Like who you telling violence is everywhere in America? Violence is everywhere in the world, but there's places in countries that you can go visit and really travel, not travel for the crime, but travel to understand others.
Yeah, travel to understand others. That's deep, and there's a beauty in there. I'm really inspired by what you're sharing right now, because as someone who's been to, I mean, even when I was in the RDC, what had happened? They had the internet line had just been severed for like a week, and there was some political instability. And I was talking to my auntie who's from Burkina Faso and knows that Congo pretty well. She was like, don't listen to the media. Everything's fine. You're going to be just fine. You're going to be safe. It's going to be great. And we had a great time. And to know that there's more to that experience that I probably haven't even thought of, going to Yemen or certain parts of Iraq. I'm inspired, bro.
Thank you, because that's my journey. I love talking about countries that people look down on because I'm not gonna lie, a lot of Western countries are bully, man. They straight up bullies. Like if you take countries and shape them as human form, America, China, France, they bully. They bullying Yemen. They bullying Congo. They bullying and this they pretend. I'm not trying to go into deep politics stuff or geopolitics. I'm just saying, like, when some countries got so much influence and they tell others that this country is dangerous because there's a map. This is a funny part. I remember when I got back to Paris not too long ago, and there was like a map of every dangerous countries in the world. Africa was all red.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, like the nerves.
Right.
Like they went out there, bombed shit, took the oil, took the diamond, took everything, and now they got the nerve to say all those countries are all dangerous. I'm like, and this a bitch. Like, I'm like, y'all,
Right.
different.
Yeah.
And I go there. I go because I did 34 countries in Africa.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you what part of Africa is like this and like that. Like, I've been when they were bombing in Timbuktu,
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to Burkina Faso because it was complicated and everything. But except that, North Mali was fine when I was there. I had no problem. And let me tell you what, they don't kidnap us. No lie. Like, black people, when you see rebels, they ain't gonna kidnap you, bro. Black, like, they don't even care about you. For real. Like, they'll look at you, talk to you, and they like just move on.
Right.
It's just that, there, there's so much to see, although it's dangerous and stuff like that. I'm definitely not telling people to put themselves in danger.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to know where you're going. You still have to talk to people because they know when to go and not to go. You just have to be open minded on the fact that, hey man, if something happened in this country, it could have happened back home too.
That's the truth, bro. That's so real. And there's a lot of violence and situations that I'll say in the States especially we get accustomed to that that we don't even think about. It's just in our subconscious, the fact that we have, people who are supposed to be serving and protecting the public shooting down particularly men and women of color out in broad daylight. We don't think about the fact that I go to a different country that I might be unfamiliar with, but what are the chances of a cop gunning me down? Super low.
Exactly, super low. Like, there's been we call it yellow vest in Paris for
Mm-hmm.
like 5 months,
We
and it's been out of control. But you don't hear people like police shooting people in broad daylight. No, like, America is super violent, and it's funny when I talk to some people and they're like, "Yo, man, I can never go to Africa. Them niggas too violent."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yo,
Been watching too many movies, fam.
the nerves, like the irony, like you saying that." Like, I remember, I'm not gonna lie, for me, one of the most violent country I've been to, and I know it can be a beautiful country, but when I went there, it was super violent, was Venezuela.
Mm.
When I went to Caracas, because when I went there, I felt like violence could come from anybody, anywhere.
Yeah.
And this is a different situation because I'm used to war zone, war country, country in crisis and everything. But went to Caracas, went to this neighborhood, and people were like, "Yo, don't do any funny move because even grandma here, she got a gun, and if you act funny, she'll shoot." I'm like, "Yo,
Yeah.
what the?" I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know it was like that." But again, I'm just saying it was my experience in Caracas that day. I'm not judging Venezuela. I'm just saying this is one of the most violent experiences that I had. But the truth is, violence is everywhere, man. Like, you can never judge a country for that. It's so much. There's so much love around it. There's so much love when you are foreigners and you willing to know the culture and stuff like that. People welcome you with arms open and stuff like. There's so much love when you're traveling, man.
For sure. And especially like you said, if you come open so that they can be open to you, I think people really want to be understood.
Exactly, exactly. Like, all right, the other day, I'm not gonna. I lived in Singapore for a year and a half, and when I used to live in Singapore, it was in 2011, 12, a long time ago. Bali, and because I used to go to Bali really often since I'm Muslim. Indonesia, being Muslim and stuff like that. I felt cool going there.
Mm-hmm.
I had to stop in Bali not too long ago, and I was shocked. Bali is like a Disney World for Instagrammers now. Like, it's completely different. I
Yeah.
was like, whoa, not judging the country, but I'm not gonna lie. I felt like the people who came to Bali came for the landscape, which is fine, but never for the people.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, like, they all are here acting all up, like they want to do this, they want to do that. I remember this girl, she had like a crazy, really expensive dress in the forest. I was like, what the fuck? It was like, it was different for me. I was like, and again, I'm not gonna lie to you. I do crazy stuff for fun sometimes. I went to Sudan with my suit. I went to Eritrea when Eritrea and Ethiopia was kind of not really at war, but like, there was non-best
It
situation.
was tight.
I went to the Eritrea border. Yeah, they were tight. Yeah, I went to the Eritrea border with a red suit, and we had fun with those people out there. We talked. I took pictures. I didn't film that. I didn't. I didn't went for the fame, like, yo, I did this and that. No, like it's just fun to me to actually go there, do something, and just go on my day, man. I did that. It was fun. It was cool. And it's just I feel like we not traveling nowadays for the best reasons. Funny thing is, we have more means to travel. Like travel is easy to a lot of people nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
but like we doing for the gram. The other day, one guy was like, "Yo, man, you travel so much. That's crazy." And you know what he asked me? He was like, "Yo, do you have holes in every country you travel to?" What? Like the question that you can get out of control. Like, no, like travel don't mean you flex. Travel's supposed to mean like, this guy's seen a lot. But I guess it's different.
Kind of reminds me of what they say about money. When people start to get a little bit of money under their belt, that money and fame reveal you. They don't change you, but they expose you. And I think having access to travel, I mean, there's so many really kind of deep and complex discussions that we can get on. Like, yeah, it's great to make money in the United States and go out to Bali and spend it, but why does that work? Why do we have such a favorable currency exchange? Why is all of their stuff cheap for us, so that we can have a little bit of fun?
Oh man, you don't even want to go that deep with those people who actually live that way, because they ain't gonna they I'm not judging. I'm saying because I lived it.
Yeah.
You cannot have this type of conversation with people that actually travel for the gram like that. They're gonna have a great time. If you want to go into this type of conversation, they're just gonna say it is what it is. Like they don't have no response, and most of the time they just want to have fun.
Right.
They don't connect the dots. I'm okay with that. I promise you, it took me a while because I'm from a country where currency is devaluated so much that we actually use dollars in Congo. The irony, we use American dollars because our Congolese currency don't even worth shit.
Wow.
So, I understand how the people from Bali feel. Like, damn, that's fucked up. Like, they come here to do whatever they want and they leave. But at the same time, hey, he works for the economy, he works for a lot of things. Like, it's just what it is. I love traveling and get to know others, but I've seen a lot of people that just been lying to people to get, for the gram.
I think it's that awareness that you're talking about, that you're actually bringing forward. I appreciate what you're sharing so much, because it sounds one way for me to say, because that's just my experience. But the fact that you have your experience and it kind of lines up on that same wavelength. But it's just having the awareness of, hey, travel is really a privilege, and have a good time, but hold yourself accountable. Be aware. Engage with people. Be respectful. I think that's what sometimes we see is lost when someone
Exactly.
they bring a whole suitcase just of outfits. I'm like, y'all just came out here to play dress up? Okay.
No, for real. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like what you just saying is like exactly what I'm pointing out. Is even in countries like Iran, Iran is a hard country to get to for Americans. Me, I can go to Iran anytime. I've been to Iran 3 times. That's how much I love the country. I even met black Iranian. Like I've never heard about them. They live in the south of Iran. They are black. Like they've been here for like 4 generations. Like they speak Farsi, but they're black. They know they're from like Somalia and stuff like that. And we talked and they explained to me that for them, Iran is like a land of peace. This is not what the rest of the world see Iran. This is not
Right.
how the rest of the world see Iran. Of course, Iran's gonna have problems. Like they do some fucked up shit. I'm not gonna judge the whole country. What I'm saying is there's some people in the country that will feel like, yo, we actually live in a peaceful country. It's not what it is. It's not what you think.
Right.
And then you got this Instagrammer, and I'm not gonna say his name, but I'm talking about this one dude, this white one dude who went there and did everything for the gram. When I say everything, is everything. Took a picture, like really disrespectful stuff, and I was like, see, that's exactly why I cannot get along with a lot of influencer traveler, if I should say, because I don't know what the fuck they influence, but it's just I'm me being me. I don't have a huge following base, but the people that follow me know who I am because I stay true to what I am. When I travel with my daughter, I travel to explain to her. I don't travel to for them. I travel for my daughter. And I can travel with my daughter for my daughter, trying to explain her the knowledge, education. I mean, travel helped me give another side of education
Yeah.
to my daughter, and this is just that. It's just we forgot a lot of what travel could bring. A lot.
1,000%. And I think first and foremost for myself, travel is for learning about myself and learning about the world. And kind of on that tip, I'm so curious because I love having the perspectives of, I consider you a brother, a cousin somewhere genetically of the
Yeah,
diaspora of people who've been, you by war, us by history, commerce, as it were back then.
yeah, for real.
But you're a brother of the diaspora, just like me. How has travel and your experience kind of helped you form your identity as a man of color on this planet?
Man, that's a really good question. That's a really good question because as you know, being black in like Arab countries, being black in Central Asia, being black in Africa is not the same.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like, being black in some countries in Africa, when you had the privilege to be educated in Europe or have your I had my, master degrees, PhD and stuff like that in America. So I had a lot of privilege. The jealousy that comes from some African countries when you come up and say, yeah, I did this and this and that, is all fucked up.
Yeah.
It's not racism, it's just jealousy. But, at the same time, I can understand, they'll be like, yo, why him? Which is also
Mm.
something I cannot, it's not my fault. It is what it is. My parents did what they had to do, and I kept going. Because being black is not an African passport.
Mm.
It's just the reality is they feel like you have a better life in your country. You come and you just play reverse for a couple of months, then you go back to your better life than us.
Yeah.
That's how. And I'm not talking about the educated part of most African countries I've been to. I'm talking about the, middle class, if that exists in some countries, and low class, because the higher class is just like, you come, they hang out with you. They also have the stuff in the Western countries. They come back, so you have good relationship.
Yeah.
But the middle and lower class I kind of feel like sometimes like they're like, yo, why you, not why me? And I understand that. I clearly do. That helps you also realize and humble yourself. Like, yo, man, I am so lucky.
Yeah.
I'm so lucky to have everything that I have, to live everything that I lived and experienced. Like, it's crazy how lucky I am. This is from an African point of view towards Africa. And when you go to Central Asia or Central Asia is different, man. Central Asia, they still kind of see you like, yo, this dude from Africa, like, he's from Africa. It's not supposed to be that educated, like, why has it done and stuff. Because when I go to Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I say I'm from Congo. So they're like, Congo, damn, like that's in Africa. How come you speak different language? Like, what, how come you got the money to come here and travel? Like question on mostly the curiosity, but also feel like, I didn't know African people could do that,
Yeah.
and then so now you feel like you have to represent every country in Africa. Like, yep, we're able to do this too. It's so it's
Wow.
so
That's a word right there.
well, yeah, because you have to.
I mean, as a black man in the States, sometimes you feel like you get that that same sort of burden in certain circles where they're just so unfamiliar with. I mean, this is especially in business sense and corporate sense. They're just so unfamiliar with someone that looks like you in the space that you now represent like everybody.
Exactly. So you cannot fuck up. Because if you fuck up, they're gonna look at you like, oh, so that's how they are.
Never again,
Like,
right? Never
it's
again.
exactly. So that basically you have to take it. You have to educate them. Like, yo, man, African people did this and this and that. I remember when I was in Tajikistan, I had this conversation with a Tajik who spoke English, and I told him, I was like, well, people from Egypt, they were Nubian, they
Yeah.
were black. He said, no, never. I'm like, dude, this is my continent. I know a lot about it. I'm telling you, they were black. you know? And he was like, no, it's impossible. I'm like, Cleopatra was not black. I was like, that's true. Cleopatra was actually mixed. She was not black. And the fact that I knew about history,
Yeah.
I promise you, he looked at me like, damn, like this dude can read.
Wow.
He looked at me like I was crazy. But that's the truth, like, and I felt like I did my job. I was like, yo, I show him that even now, it was 2017. Like, even now, some people in some part of the world think that we just slay or something like that, Not but they not mean that in a bad way. They're not just like, I didn't know black people could do that.
Right. There's no exposure, no awareness.
There's no exposure. And what they see is they somehow, like, those guys have no means, like they have no money, but they have one TV, and this TV gonna show BT, so they gonna see rap everything, and they're like, yeah, no, that's how black people are.
Yeah.
I'm not saying BT is a bad channel or anything. I'm just saying the representation that they're gonna have is rap. You come like, yo, I don't rap. I don't know how to rap. And they're like, for real? I thought all you guys rap. I had that, and people really was serious about this. Like, I thought everybody was, rapping. I was like, no, I don't rap. Like, I'm not. I don't do that. But that's what the representation of black people was to them.
Wow.
So when they saw me camping in their land, they're like, yo, this dude is just actually like us. He do some crazy shit. So he motivated me to stay true to myself. Being black and traveling so much motivated me to stay true to myself, not to take anything from others. I'm me, and when I travel, this is why I learn the most. Like, just
that's a word right there, man. That's so real, and it sounds like travel has really rooted you and challenged your identity, so you were forced to find it, because there's nothing that'll make you feel crazier than being in a place where you don't speak the language, you don't know what's going on, and you don't know who you are. What's going to be your support system?
exactly. And like, it's when you die lost, when you don't know nothing, you don't know where to go, you don't speak the language and everything, you have to do a different type of traveling. Like, you have to travel within yourself.
Mm.
Like, all right, okay, so now, what do I do? Like, how I'm gonna get out of this? Because I've been through some fucked up situation. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a crazy ride those past 8 years. And when you have to travel within yourself to find a way out, because I've suffered from racism.
Yeah.
We all did while traveling, and it pisses you off for two reasons. First is, they still treat me like shit, and it hurts.
Yeah.
And second is like, yo, man, my lifestyle is actually a lot more better than this dude, and he still don't realize that. Like, that's crazy. Like, fuck, man. Like, I can actually teach you about your own country, and you treat me like shit. Like, it's hard. So you have to travel within yourself, find the peace within yourself. Be like, all right, man, look, racism is just synonym of an education. This dude is not educated. He's not at my level. I actually have to lower myself, to be higher than him and just stay calm. And it's super hard,
Yeah.
but travel teach you how to be patient. You know how it is. Airports, you wait, you not happy, visas, stress for the visas, delay, all the stuff. We don't realize, but like, it just teach you how to be patient. You know how it is, man. Like, I've been telling about this guy. I remember this guy was like, yo, I'm going to Madagascar. I've been there. And he was like, yo, Madagascar, say if you go to, in Google, they say if you go to this point in Madagascar, it'll take you 2 hours. I told this guy, I was like, never trust Google in Africa. This road, everything you see on Google Map, double it.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is. And it took this guy 4 hours. I was like, I told you. This guy, white dude, was unhappy. And I was like, yo, that's fucked up. Like, why would they do that in Madagascar, Like, yeah, that guy, they got my schedule all fucked up. I missed my flight. I'm like, man, it's crazy. When I say that, you don't believe it. I've been there. I lived it. You don't believe it. But when you experience it, that's how you feel now. Like you understand how I feel. Like, it is what it is. Like people do not understand. We not judge at the same level as everyone sometimes, and it just hurts. But you have to be patient.
That's real. And the, like you said earlier, the audacity, but again, that different level of just frequency, of just even being open to the fact that, Gab, you look like you might be from the continent. You look like you might know what you're talking about, but they're just going to ignore your advice. Who's someone who's actually an expert.
Exactly. I'm like, and like the irony. I'm like, yo, man, I actually been there. I know how it is. I know it. It can be Madagascar, Mozambique, Malawi. Those countries are the same. Like, it's just, believe me. They're like, yeah, okay. Next thing you know, they don't, and end up missing their flight. Told your ass, but you don't want to listen.
When life gives you opportunities, yeah, sometimes they turn into lessons.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You mentioned something earlier about education and lessons in regards to your daughter. And I'm always asking my guests, how their parents brought them up with travel, whether that was intentional. And you're a Black father who is intentional with travel and your daughter. So can you tell me more about that, kind of your desire or why you've wanted to imbue her with these experiences that you've had?
Well, when you travel with your daughter, it's so. I do it because I want to expose her to differences.
Yeah.
Expose a kid to differences. He grew up in, around differences, then everything actually is not even different no more. Everything is the same to her. It's a way of kind of killing the fear of others. If you I've traveled with her in Asian country.
Yeah.
She's seen the people, different Asian countries. She went to Philippines, she went to Vietnam, she went to Hong Kong, China. She's seen people all different, but she was able to play with kids. If even without even speaking the language, stuff like that, they were playing hide and seek, like, she understood and stuff like that. So I saw her trying to understand, even though she didn't understand the language. And I can see what travel brings to her. This level of adaptation, like, she has to adapt something that, of course, you don't have to travel to educate your kids, but what I'm saying is I have the opportunity to do it, so I do it. And I can see her develop and trying to adapt on different situations.
Yeah.
And I actually love that.
That's incredible. And shout out to you for also being an example for father. We don't always see those examples in our culture in the States. I'm not sure what the perception is exactly where you are in Europe or in Africa, but to see a Black father with a nurturing side is something to write home about and to uplift, man. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Thanks, man. Well, it's a blessing for me, actually. It's a blessing for me to talk about it because I think we can always do more. And when you travel with your kid, it's not a vacation. Trust me, it's not. It's just but it's I think really important thing, and adaptation is the key. Someone who knows how to adapt in different environment, different world will always win. But I guess even here, even in France, even where I've been to, it's not really common. But it's also the means. Like, it's not. My daughter been to about 30 countries. She's been lucky. She's been lucky to,
right.
Like I was lucky. But yeah, it's still cool to see. We went to Mexico, and for her, Mexico was related to Dora. So for her, everything was like Dora
She's
the
looking for
Explorer,
Swiper.
stuff like that. Exactly. Like she's like, oh, that it's just like in Dora and stuff like that. But then you have those conversations with her. You teach her stuff. I think it's great because she goes from daddy's baby girl to travel buddy, and that's super cool.
That's a relationship to cherish, and I see that you do, and I'm sure she does, and will only benefit greatly from it. You're definitely right about the adaptation aspect. It's just super dope, man. I want to make sure we touched on that. I didn't know that before we started talking. So let's dive in. I'm looking for role models too, fam. So I get something out of this.
Thanks, man.
And before we round out to hear about your upcoming trips and any projects you're working on, I'm curious. Actually, I'm fascinated. In the States, especially around this millennial generation, we notice that a lot of the sisters, the Black women, are out here traveling all over the globe, and we definitely don't see the same representation, same level for Black men. Is that similar in Africa and in Europe? Like, have you noticed that as well?
Well, first of all, I want to give props to the Black women in America because they're killing the game. Like, got a couple friend, like Kelly has her own show. Uh, Gloria is killing it. You know, she got so much, business coming up and stuff like that. She got a course. All those girls that I met sometime and traveling, like they are killing the game, and I love that because my daughter get to see that. You know, my daughter was like, "Yo, Dad, this one's driving a helicopter. This one goes to this place." You know, so I love the fact that they're killing the game. I just love it. In France, it's different because this is me thinking. And pardon me if maybe I don't know enough, but I'm going to talk about what I know, and maybe I'm limited on the subject. I think in France, I mean in Europe, we're still at that phase where people follow, blonde Becky going to Thailand, which is it's not a race thing. I'm just saying you know what I'm talking about, like
I do. Just for a little side note, is I saw an IG account that was something or other, the Dreaded Traveler, and it was a woman of Caucasian descent with locks. Yeah. And I was like, how?
Do they know what that means, though?
How?
Like, do they know what that means? Man. Like, do they know, man? Like, this is crazy to me. Like, I hope they know what it means. If they know what it means and they do it, maybe I'm like, all right, cool. You know, you defend your point. But if they don't and they do it for the style, man, it hurts. Oh, so bad. But again, it's not my place to judge.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I feel like we're still at that. There's not a lot of Black women doing it in Europe, and clearly there's not a lot of Black male doing it. Most of the Black male who does it are people from, cousins from England. A couple doing great.
Right.
But like in France, to be honest, I don't think there's nobody. Like, I do my video in English. I don't even do my stuff in French because I won't get any support. Like, I'll have a lot more support from, brothers and sisters in America, brothers and sisters in Africa that will have in France. Mm-hmm. It's just what it is. And I realized that, so I was like, why am I going to do it in France? Like, why am I going to strive and work hard for minimum? No, like, I can have a lot more public in another continent, so I'll go for that.
Right. And do you see the same sort of disparity? Are African women traveling more than African men? How does that look? Or Congolese? We can make it country specific. I don't have to generalize the whole continent.
Oh no, like I think we can generalize the continent because Congolese they don't travel. If a Congolese that travel is called migration, bro. Like, it's not traveling. It's not traveling, bro. Trying to survive for their life.
Touche.
Nah, it's if you think about it, like, I've seen 2 African dudes that travel, and they're pretty good at it, but most of the time is women. It feels like women understand really, like, really deep the sense of traveling, like what it could bring to them. And it's more women again.
Okay.
Clearly it's more women. I don't see in any part of the world where Black male take over the traveling game. Nope.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for those who haven't figured it out, that's really good odds if you just fucking leave your country. There will probably be a lot of women of color there. And listen, you ain't going to beat that in a bar on Friday night. I don't care who you are. You gotta go where the game is being played. Don't play yourself. Get your damn passport and take off.
Yeah, take off, and I mean, you don't have to go and for a crazy country first. Like, just a different one, just a different one. Maybe go somewhere that's not like it's not like Instagram booming. No, I don't know. Like, there's so much going on. Like, even in the continent, like Ghana right now, Ghana was taking over. Ghana is crazy.
Oh,
It's
this
like,
is their year. I'll probably be there before the end of the year. This is their year.
well, they have that. I'm thinking about going there because they have like Afrochella the end of this
Afrochella for
year.
the year of return.
Yeah, yeah. So like, I'm thinking about going there. I'm going back there because when I was there a few years ago, it was not like that. Like, they're really booming the tourism and stuff like that. Rwanda also, and it's safe. I'm talking about safe places
Oh,
that you want to
Rwanda.
try out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rwanda is like dope. Even though, as a Congolese, I could say like, no, fuck this country after everything they done to us. No, but if I stay real, it's a great country. Like, they're doing an amazing job on tourism. Tanzania, Ethiopia is doing an amazing job. It's these places people can go in the continent, and if they want to go Central Asia, I recommend to go to Uzbekistan, Tajikistan. Those are countries you can actually go visit and see different things, and you can learn about the Silk Road. You can learn about so many stuff that they never told you about in the history book when you were in the high school or trying to highlight.
Right.
There's plenty of stuff you can visit. Turkey is one of them. Turkey is an amazing country. I've lived there for a year. There's a lot of good places people should go, and at least for first travel, for eyes opener, definitely can try out. The world is big, man.
That's big facts. The world is big. I appreciate your recommendations on these areas that a lot of people don't talk about, and it's actually on my personal travel list to hit some of these areas because one is less tourists, less Americans I got to deal with, and it's usually more affordable because everybody's going to the popular spots. I just want to kick back, talk to people, drink, and eat and learn. So I don't need a whole lot going on around me to get that done.
Oh man, Juicy. I'm telling you, if you go to Central Asia, I got friends a little bit everywhere. Even if you go to Iran, I know a lot of people around there. In the continent, there's always someone I know in the country.
Gotta
Been
be,
there for
gotta
so
be.
long.
That's Mando.
Exactly. A cousin from a cousin, like a friend from a friend. Like, there's a small world there. But like I said, man, of course, Europe, you'll be safe. Like, if you come to Europe, you're not going to have eyes culture opener, except if you want to go to Greenland in wintertime. Like,
Right.
I'll be like, yo, bro.
You got to get away
Do
from the
something
cities
else.
too. Like when I go to
Yeah.
France this year, one of my trips, I got to go to Normandy. I want to see one of my
Oh,
homies,
nice.
another brother, but you got to get out to the country where I can actually use the French rather than people be excited to speak English with me. That's the move for me
Yeah,
for France at this
exactly.
point.
Yeah, exactly. Go out the city because city don't represent the whole country. Paris do not represent France. I'll tell you that much.
And all of France does not fool with Paris. That is facts.
No, yeah, Paris has bad reputation even in France, man.
Right. It's gonna be a whole different podcast. If I get out there and we're in the same and we're in Paris for a day or so, we'll kick it. But yeah, they know what they did. They know what they did.
They know. They know.
But
We'll
listen,
talk about it. We'll talk.
but listen, bro, as we round out, thank you so much for sharing. I want to hear what trips you have coming up because I know you're always moving somewhere, and if there are any projects that you want to tell us about that you're working on.
Well, basically, I'm supposed to be in Turkmenistan by the end of this month. I got a lot going on because what I didn't mention is I was a stock exchange traveler I was a stock exchange trader for 8 years. Dropped that, and now I do video for a couple businesses like tour operators and tourist board and stuff like that.
Oh
And I
wow.
love that job. Yeah, that's what get me traveling. Before it used to be the trading part. Now it's that. So Turkmenistan, I have contract. Argentina, Djibouti. So yeah, I have a cool places to come up. And project wise, I'm working. I gotta finish my book, and that's gonna be great because it's about traveling.
Yeah.
And the book, after the book, I might, it's not sure yet, but I might work on something cool as an app for traveling.
Okay.
Now it's still ongoing, but yeah, the book is something I gotta finish.
That's what's up, bro. That's super awesome. Get those thoughts, because some cultures only respect things written down in books. So I'm glad that your experience and your journey is going to be chronicled in that way. That's beautiful. And the transition of careers, man, shout out to you, adding the elements that you love in life into your profession.
I can't lie to you, man. I was scared to death. I make the jump. I made the jump. Like, I was scared to death. I was like, oh my God, like I'm leaving this job that a lot of people would like, doing what I love, but and then you do it, and you just jump.
I get it, bro. I'm in that midair portion right now where you've already left the ground, but you don't want to look down to see where you're going to land just yet, because you know it's coming.
Yeah. I feel you, man. It's not easy, but we all got to believe in ourselves. That's the only way we're gonna make things work.
All right, man. Well, out of all of the sessions and guests who brought perspective, you've definitely brought one that encourages you to, as you say, travel within yourself. I think that's beautiful. It's probably going to be the title of this show. And I just want to thank you again for sharing in the transparent way that you do, man, and wish you the safest of travels and best of success. And I hope to catch up with you soon, man.
Man, thanks for having me. I mean, it was a pleasure. And for real, it was like I really enjoyed talking about it. This is me. This is exactly who I am. If you meet me, I'm not gonna change. I'm just gonna be the same. And I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to just be myself and talk about it.
The pleasure is all mine, and I know that those listening are going to get a ton out of it too. So, yeah, man, I hope to catch up with you in the future. Maybe Uzbekistan, who knows? But Gabbok, it's been great, man.
Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. Open yourself up so others can be open to you. Gab, bro, wiser words couldn't have been said when it comes to adventuring, especially in places you're not familiar with. So thank you so much for blessing us, spending a little bit of time with us here at The Point. I know everyone listening got a ton out of this. Y'all, make sure you follow Gab at Gabbok17 on Instagram. He's got a ton of photos and videos up. You can even see his little baby girl. She's adorable. Bro, thank you so much for stopping by on the show. I know people got a ton out of this. That all being said, hope you all enjoyed this, our 45th session of the Point Noir podcast. We're almost at a year, y'all. Listen, time flies when you're out here having fun and adventuring and kicking it and meeting people. We've had quite a colorful array of guests, and we have more to come. Just more awesome stories, more perspectives, very different perspectives coming down the pipeline very soon. And I can't wait for you all to hear that. So appreciate your attention, your time. Thanks for kicking it with me as I go through this journey of being a host of a podcast. It's kind of different. You don't need bags, you don't need a suitcase, you don't need GPS, but you do need to show up every week. And it really is a pleasure to make sure that this show happens on a weekly basis, and that we can also provide an opportunity for other men of color to get their passports and see the world. So like I mentioned at the beginning of today's session, we will be introducing our winners from April. Actually, we have two. We did something a little bit differently this time. We have two winners. Can't wait to introduce them to you. And if you or someone you know is over the age of 21 and is a man of color and wants to go out and see the world and needs their passport taken care of, we got you. So hit us up on Instagram at Point Noir Show. We'll take care of the rest from there. That all being said, again, this is session 45. And this is Jerry the Third, aka Kimono Jack, signing off. See you next week.